After 8 years with Chris Christie at the helm of their state, New Jersey voters will soon elect their next governor. Christie's lieutenant governor, Kim Guadagno, is the Republican nominee, and she'll be going up against former diplomat and Goldman Sachs financier Phil Murphy. PBS host Steve Adubato had the opportunity to sit down with both candidates ahead of Election Day. Let's listen first to comments made by Lieutenant Governor Guadagno.
This election, Steve, is going to be a referendum on taxes. And if anybody
thinks... Property taxes, income taxes?
Taxes. Phil Murphy has promised an additional $75 billion worth of spending. We added it up. It's on our website, kim4nj.com. And just the other day, he added another 200 or 400 million because of his plan for free community college education. Right. It keeps going up and up and up. He's admitted to $1 billion worth of additional taxes. That's one promise I think he'll keep.
For his part, Democratic challenger Phil Murphy focused on the pension crisis facing the state.
The state's been kicking this can down the road for going on 20 years, since the 1990s, and the cumulative impact is now almost overwhelming. So at some point, you got to say, stop, enough. We're good for our word. We will pay and stand up for our obligations. I don't think you get there next Monday, but you have to show transparently and deliberately you're going to get there sooner than later and own up to our end of the bargain.
And we're always delighted to have Steve back here to talk with us here. So,
my pleasure to be here, Jack.
You and I are both Jersey guys.
Jersey guys.
So we're paying careful attention to this. I want to ask you opinions on both personalities and substantive issues on both the candidates in a moment. But let me start off with the elephants in the room, if you will. Donald Trump and Chris Christie. How are the impressions of those two men and the way the various viewers look at those two men going to play out, do you think, in this election?
It matters a lot. Now, remember, New Jersey is one of only two states, New Jersey and Virginia, with the governor's race after this historic presidential race, Jack. So, look, Chris Christie, there's no one else in the room politically when he's in the room, and Kim Guadagno has been his number two for going on 8 years. So the dilemma for her has been fascinating because she's trying to be her own person, establish her own identity, say where she is on the issues. And where the governor has been popular and has done things well, she's with him. The problem for the lieutenant governor is where the governor has had real problems. Credit downgrades of the states, in terms of the bond rating. Serious problem. Bridgegate is, everyone knows, you don't need me to tell you. It's like she was never there. And you can't have it both ways. So that's been very tough for her. Chris Christie is part of this race, but he's not actively engaged out there publicly.
Does that surprise you, by the way, that he has not been actively engaged?
No, I think Chris Christie is... I don't want to say he's had it because the governor will speak for himself. I think the governor's ready to move on. He's ready to move to the next chapter in his life, make some money, and move out of public life. I really believe that that's where he is. Donald Trump, that's a whole nother story, Jack. I mean, the DACA decision, the constant efforts to repeal and replace Obamacare. You've got over 500,000 New Jerseyans who signed up for so-called Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. People are saying, wait a minute, does he want to throw us off? Now, Kim Guadagno, Republican, she is critical of any effort in Congress to try to turn that around. She's critical of Trump on that. She's critical of Trump on DACA, saying the Dreamers should stay there. You got about 20,000 in New Jersey. Trump, his personality, his policies, they matter in this race a lot.
Let's talk about them individually now. We'll start with Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno. I've known Kim for more than some years, back when I was practicing law, and she was an assistant United States attorney.
That's right.
And so she has had an interesting career in law enforcement, as a sheriff. She's done a lot of things. And as you said, a lieutenant governor for 8 years, and one, as you said, also who's willing to buck the current establishment. How difficult is it for her? Because we know the reality is, whether you like Governor Christie or not, right now in the state of New Jersey, the numbers suggest that most people are not happy with him. How difficult is it then for her to get out from his shadow and to get people to look at Kim Guadagno as an individual rather as simply an extension of Governor Christie?
Extremely difficult challenge. She's trying, Jack. She's trying to talk in very clear ways about where she's different, but at the same time, she does not really want to talk about any of the problems that the Christie administration has had. And again, I'm repeating myself, you can't have it both ways. She is a strong, independent person, but see, people say, well, why wasn't she speaking out when she was lieutenant governor, when she disagreed on certain issues? Well, wait a minute. Since when do you hear Joe Biden?
Yeah, she's
when
the
was Joe
lieutenant
Biden
governor.
being
The answer is
critical?
because she's the lieutenant governor.
Or Mike Pence.
Right.
Even if you disagree, the job of the lieutenant governor, the job of the vice president is to disagree in private. Could you imagine putting someone out there and say, listen, I just want to make everyone clear. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with her, the number one person who got elected.
Right.
So I think she's been a loyal lieutenant governor, but it's really hurting her in some ways. And by the way, don't kid yourself. Phil Murphy, that's the issue. He keeps saying, look at her. If you don't like Chris Christie, you're not going to like her. Right. So, I mean, he's trying to simplify the race and make it all about Chris Christie. You know,
and Phil Murphy is an interesting guy. Came up, was very successful as a businessman, made a few dollars. Was not handed anything. Nope. So he has been the American dream in that sense. But he also comes from Goldman Sachs, and we're hearing folks on the Republican side saying, "Oh, remember our last governor from Goldman Sachs,
John Corzine, didn't work out too well.
Didn't work out too well." So what does he do? But he's gotten involved in politics. A diplomat. We talked about an ambassador to Germany. So what then are his hurdles? How does he get over, for instance, the John Corzine lookalike test?
Well, first of all, again, having interviewed governors in New Jersey for just a few years. Personality-wise, he's different. He's more engaging, more personable. He enjoys interacting with people more. No disrespect to John Corzine. Awkward, stiff,
he was not a personable guy. Right. And Phil Murphy, as you said, he walks into a room, and whether you're going to vote for him or not, you're going to like the guy.
Immediately, Murphy takes off his jacket, rolls up his sleeves. He's in there with except, he doesn't live like the average New Jerseyan at Goldman Sachs, like I said. He's done well. I would say for him, what he's done is he's worked very well. He's worked very effectively to pull in the public employee unions. He's saying, on the pension thing, you heard him talk about it, I'm not going to press public employees to go back and renegotiate things on health care benefits, on pension benefits. But there are some others who say, wait a minute, maybe we should do that. Now, the question becomes, New Jersey made a commitment that they would fund the pension. They haven't been doing it at all, or very little. And what he's saying is, let's tax the millionaires. Let's tax those who have more money. Kim Guadagno is saying, that's right. He's taxing income tax. He's taxing this tax, that tax. He wants free community college for everyone in the state. How much does it cost? $200 million. Where's the money going to come from? I think what Murphy is doing is saying, look, after Chris Christie, you want somebody who's more engaged, leaning more to the left, more progressive. It is a very blue state. He's tapping into that, but trying not to be the ghost, if you will, of John Corzine, which won't help him at all.
Yeah, so each of them have ghosts hovering about them. As you said, some stark delineations between them and their positions, and interesting and compelling backgrounds for both of them. Always a pleasure, man. We'll talk again soon.